We're just going to go ahead and get started because it's a little bit past 10. If you could just go ahead and join me in a seated position. You can allow your eyes to flutter closed, maybe rolling your shoulders back here, moving your neck around, just getting comfortable. Keeping your weight in your sits bones here. Chest is lifted. Spine is nice and straight here. And bringing your attention inward for a few moments. Noticing how you naturally inhale and exhale. Maybe trying to lengthen these by holding for a second at the top of your inhale. And the same for the bottom of your exhale. I also invite you at this time to switch over to the Ujjayi breath, consisting of inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. With your tongue planted on the roof of your mouth, feeling the air go all the way to the back of your throat, down into your lungs. Your stomach expands, and then pushing it out, back up the way that it came from. You can also take this time to kind of do a full body scan here, seeing if there's any spots that are particularly stiff or sore. Just taking note of these for later on in today's practice so that we can honor our body where it's at today. Finally, if you would like to, I invite you to set an intention for today's practice at this time. My intention for today will be that of focus, becoming present, focusing on where I'm at, and not allowing my mind to wander to everything else it might want to. Feel free to use my intention, or you can go ahead and set one of your own, a word or phrase that you can use to kind of ground yourself throughout today's practice. Go ahead and take one more breath here. And at the bottom of your exhale, you can just go ahead and allow your eyes to flutter open. Beautiful. We're going to go ahead and take it to some twists here. So we're inhaling, reaching our arms up, gaze comes up to the hands. Exhale, twisting toward that right side. Left hand comes to the outside of right thigh here. And gaze comes over that back shoulder, maybe toward the back corner of the room. Just a gentle twist here. Maybe using your inhales to lengthen upwards and your exhales to twist just a bit further. One more breath here. Beautiful. On your next inhale, returning back to the middle, gaze comes up to those hands. Exhale, we're taking that twist on the opposite side. So once again, right hand comes to the outside of left knee, and gaze comes over that left shoulder. Making sure that the spine stays nice and lengthened here. And once again, if you want to use those inhales to lengthen upwards, and that exhale to twist a bit further, you're welcome to. Taking one more breath here. Perfect. On your next inhale, returning to the middle, gaze comes to the hands. Exhale, this time right hand comes down to the mat. We're taking a side body stretch here. So left hand comes overhead. Maybe your gaze is up at that hand or up at the ceiling, or maybe it's just out in front of you if that's comfortable. So long as you feel this stretch all the way through from the fingertips down into the hip. Maybe you feel it sort of in the obliques here, through the shoulder. Taking one more breath here. On your next inhale, returning to the middle, gaze comes up to those hands. Exhale, taking the stretch on the opposite side. Left hand is down on the mat and right hand is overhead. Gaze might be up at those fingers or at the ceiling here. Feeling that side body stretch through the fingertips all the way down through that hip, maybe even in the glute, I don't know. Taking one more breath here. Beautiful. Inhaling back to the middle. We exhale down, bringing hands into prayer position here. So however you choose to get there, we're going to approach tabletop position. Here we stack our shoulders over top of our wrists and our knees underneath of our hip bones. Oh, there's some dirt on my mat, that's not cute. And we're going to go ahead and take some cat-cows here. So whenever you are ready, we inhale, dropping the stomach towards the mat. Gaze comes up to the ceiling, rolling the shoulders back here. And exhale, pushing through our palms away from the mat, rolling through the spine, pulling our shoulder blades apart. Gaze might be at the thighs or at the belly button. Inhale, dropping that stomach again. Gaze comes up to the ceiling for cow. Exhale, rolling through the spine, pulling shoulder blades apart for cat. You can go ahead and take this a few more times at your own breath, just stretching yourself out here. Maybe you add a little bit of extra movement, swaying hips side to side. If you would like to, just kind of slowly waking up the body here. Go ahead and take one more, whatever variation you would like. And whenever you're done with that, you can go ahead and meet me back in a normal tabletop position here. Beautiful. We're going to go ahead and start with our heat building portion. So whenever you're ready, we're extending out, this is my left arm and my right leg coming into it's kind of like a plank position. We're gonna do some bird dogs. So whenever you're ready, exhaling, gaze comes down to the mat, elbow approaches, knee here, crunching in through that core. Inhale, extending out, gaze might come out with that hand, a nice straight line from the heels through the fingertips. Exhale, crunching in, once again, elbow to knee. Inhale, extending out one more time, balancing here. Exhale, crunching in, engaging those abdominal muscles. Inhale, go ahead and extend out, and exhale, go ahead and release down to the mat to tabletop position. So we're going to go ahead and take that on the other side whenever you are ready. We inhale, extending out our right arm this time, followed by left leg. Nice straight line here, gazes past those fingertips. Exhale, go ahead and crunch in. Knee approaches elbow, gazes down at the mat. Inhale, extending out. Maybe you feel some engagement in that glute. Exhale, crunching in. Elbow comes towards knee, gaze at the mat. Inhale, extending out, last one. Exhale, crunching in. Feeling that contraction in those abdominals. Inhale, extending out one more time before we exhale, releasing down, tabletop. Great job. Whenever you are ready, we're going to go ahead and tuck our toes and straighten through the knees, pushing our glutes up towards the ceiling, coming into downward dog. Maybe you want to stay here for a second, walk it out. We're going to go ahead and take our first vinyasa of the practice. So whenever you're ready, we inhale forward, coming into a low plank position. So dropping the knees here, untucking the toes, but still keeping that core engagement with that nice straight line through the tailbone to the crown of the head. Exhale, tucking our elbows in, we slowly lower down to the mat, chest first, followed by stomach. Inhale, feeling those shoulder blades fall down the back, approaching, coming into baby cobra here. Maybe wiggling the fingers to make sure that our weight is in the right places. Exhale, curling the toes, pushing back, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, you can go ahead and slowly walk your feet up towards your hands, toward the top of the mat here. And once you're there, you can exhale, coming into a forward fold, generously bending the knees here so that you can reach your hands all the way down to the mat, or so that your chest comes onto your thighs. Inhale, halfway lift here. Hands come to either the shins or the tops of the thighs with a nice flat back here, gazes down at the mat in front of you. Exhale, forward fold, bending those knees once again, allowing the head to hang heavy. Inhale, this time reverse swan dive all the way up, reaching towards the ceiling here, gaze comes up to the hands. Exhale, optional mini back bend here, pushing the pelvis forward. Inhale, rising up. Before we exhale, swan dive forward, forward fold, bending those knees at the bottom. Inhale, halfway lift here, nice flat back, pulling shoulder blades together. Exhale, go ahead and place the hands down on the mat. We're stepping it back, downward facing dog. Taking another vinyasa here, we inhale forward, this time coming into a nice high plank position, so not dropping those knees, a straight line from the crown of our head through our heels. Exhale, chaturanga down, slowly lowering down, keeping those elbows tucked into our sides. Chest meets the mat first, followed by stomach. Inhale, rising up this time to a high cobra, shining the chest forward, rolling the shoulders back here. Exhale, curling those toes, lifting up and back, downward facing dog. And go ahead and drop those knees here, allowing the shins to fall flat on the mat. We exhale, allowing our weight to sink back towards our glutes here, or child's pose. Once again, reminder that this is the pose that you can return to if at any point during today's practice you don't like what we're doing. Taking one more breath here. Beautiful. On your next inhale, go ahead and push yourself back up into downward dog. On your next inhale, go ahead and bring your weight into the balls of those toes. Exhale, bending the knees. We step or hop forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift here, nice flat back. Hands are on either the thighs or the shins. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive, reaching up towards the ceiling here. Exhale, this time dropping the weight into the heels, coming into chair pose. Gaze might be up at those hands. Feeling that weight in the heels here. Chest is nice and lifted. If you were to look into a mirror on the side, you would see only one leg. Got an inhale, rising up. Exhale, swan, diving forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift here, nice flat back. Before we exhale, setting the hands down and stepping back, downward facing dog. Inhale, rocking the weight forward to a plank position of your choice. Exhale, chaturanga, slowly lowering down, keeping the elbows tucked into our sides. Inhale, up to your back bend of choice. Then taking upward dog, in which only the hands and the tops of the feet are on the mat. Exhale, pushing your weight back, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, go ahead and float up the right leg, coming into three-legged dog here, making sure that those hips are nice and aligned here. Exhale, go ahead and crouch knee towards nose before setting it down. You can go ahead and adjust that back foot so that it's at sort of a 45-degree angle, so it might be pointing towards the corner of your mat or the corner of the room. Inhaling, rising up, warrior one. Feeling that chest opening up here. We're going to stay here for a few breaths. Maybe you take this time to kind of pull your hips so that they're a little bit more aligned with each other. It may not get there perfectly, but that's okay. It's the nature of the pose. Taking one more breath here. Exhale, go ahead and float the arms down to frame the front foot. Readjusting that back foot. We inhale, rising up, three-legged dog. Exhale, go ahead and release it down, downward facing dog. Maybe walking this out for a second. We're going to go ahead and take that on the other side. So we inhale, floating up our left foot this time. Exhale, crunching knee towards nose before we set that foot down in between our hands. Inhale, adjusting that back foot so that it's at 45 degrees here. Before we inhale up, warrior one. Once again, thinking about those hips, trying to find the alignment. They may not get there, and that's really okay. Allowing that chest to fall open. Maybe you take a slight back bend here. Only going so far as is comfortable, of course. Last breath. We inhale here, reaching upwards. Exhale, bringing those hands down to frame the front foot. Readjusting that back foot before we inhale. Lifting up, three-legged dog here. Exhale, go ahead and release it, downward facing dog. Taking one vinyasa here. We inhale forward to our plank variation of choice. Exhale, chaturanga down, making sure once again to keep those elbows nice and tucked into the sides before we inhale, pushing ourselves up into our back bend. Exhale, bringing those glutes up towards the ceiling once again, downward facing dog. Maybe taking a few breaths here, walking out the heels if you would like, noticing how close they get to the mat in comparison to the beginning of today's class. On your next inhale, we're going to take three-legged dog once again on that right side. Exhale, crunching knee to nose, setting it down in between those hands. Inhale, this time, we're bringing the back foot down so that it's parallel to the back of the mat, approaching warrior two here. Cartwheeling those arms upwards. There is a generous bend in the front knee. Go ahead and inhale, reaching those fingers even further out. Exhale, sinking a little bit deeper into that front knee, but making sure that it doesn't go past the toes. It should be square over top of that ankle. Inhale once again, reaching those fingers outward. Exhale, this time maybe you feel a slight pull toward the right side in that front leg. Inhale this time, coming into reverse warrior, we allow the left arm to sink back on the back of that left leg. Right arm goes up and gaze comes to meet it. Or maybe your gaze is past the fingertips up at the ceiling. Or sky if you're outside. I taught outside last week and it was kind of a mess, but it's okay. It was a good time. Inhale one more time, reaching up here. Exhale, we're bringing our weight all the way forward here, coming into an extended side angle. So right arm maybe resting on that front right thigh, left hand overhead, maybe your gaze is up at your hands. Option here also to kind of bring that right arm out. This way you'll feel a little bit more oblique engagement, but it's up to you, whatever you're after in today's class. Go ahead and inhale, rising back up, warrior two. Taking one breath here. And on your exhale, go ahead and turn the feet so that they're both facing the outer corners of the mat. Arms are extended, star pose. We inhale, rising up those arms, and exhale, taking a generous bend in those knees. We're sinking down into goddess pose. So it's sort of just a really wide-legged squat. Maybe you use your breath to inhale, rising up a little bit farther, and exhale, sinking it just a bit deeper. We're really warming up our thighs here, our quads and our hamstrings, for our peak pose today. Go ahead and inhale, rising up, straightening out those legs. Exhale, this time hands can come to the hips. We're sinking forward, approaching a wide-legged forward fold. Once you get down to the bottom, you can go ahead and place hands down. Before we inhale, taking that halfway lift back from before, and exhale, allowing our weight to sink down even further, wide-legged forward fold. Thinking about reaching with the sternum here, rather than just with the crown of the head, so that we're not crunching our back in any unnecessary ways. Taking one more breath here. Beautiful. Inhale, hands come to the hips, and we lift halfway up here. Exhale, stay here. Inhale, rising all the way up this time. Great job. Exhale, we're actually going to just go ahead and step it to the top of the mat. The magic of yoga transitions, you know how it goes. Once here, you can go ahead and inhale, lifting those hands upwards. Gaze comes to meet them. Exhale, optional mini back bend here. You don't have to take it if your back isn't feeling it. Inhale, rising out of that. Before we exhale, swan diving forward, placing hands down on the mat. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift here, nice flat back, pulling shoulder blades together. Exhale, go ahead and place those hands down, and you can step or hop it back, coming into downward facing dog. Taking one vinyasa here, we inhale forward to our plank variation of choice. I'm going to take low plank this time. Exhale, slowly chaturanga down, keeping those elbows tucked into our sides. Before we inhale, rising into our back bend of choice. Thinking about keeping a slight bend in those elbows so that you're not blocking anything out, as that could lead to potential injuries. Go ahead and exhale, returning to downward facing dog whenever you are ready. Once again, maybe you want to kind of walk this out here, feeling how close your heels are getting to the mat. Maybe they're touching, I don't know, they don't have to. On your next inhale, okay, so if we took that on the right side, on your next inhale, we're floating up the left leg here for three-legged dog. Exhale, crunching knee towards nose before we place that hand down on the mat. Inhale, bringing that right back foot to be parallel with the back of the mat. Before we cartwheel the arms up, I'm going to turn around. And now I'm on the same side as you, but I'm facing you. Maybe you want to kind of swing your way back, just rock your way back and forth here so that you can find the right place for your hips to kind of sink in. Inhale here, reaching fingertips even farther. Exhale, gaze goes way past those fingertips. Inhale, engaging that back leg. Exhale, feeling that pull toward the left side in the front left leg. Inhale one more time here. Exhale. On your next inhale, we're coming into reverse warrior on this side. So right hand comes to the back of right leg here. Left hand comes up, gazes up at the ceiling or up at that hand. Feeling your chest be nice and open here. We don't want to crunch in on ourselves. That front leg should still be as engaged as it was in the warrior two pose. One more breath here. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, coming into an extended side angle on this side. So left forearm comes to left thigh, right arm comes overhead. Maybe your gaze is up at that hand. Once again, thinking about keeping the chest nice and open here, you can kind of twist slightly, so long as your arm is still kind of next to your ear. Also option again, if you want to lift up that left arm for that extra oblique engagement, you're welcome to. Go ahead and inhale, rising back up, warrior two. Exhale, go ahead and bring those legs so the toes are facing towards kind of the corners of the room or the corners of your mat. Arms are extended for star pose. Inhale, lifting arms up. Exhale, sinking it down, goddess pose. So a few more options here that you can take to kind of make the breath go faster. You can inhale, peeling one heel off of the mat here. Exhale, setting it down. Inhale, experimenting with the other heel being peeled up. Before you exhale, set it down. And then if that's like, it's not enough to kind of take your focus away from the burning in your quads, you can inhale, lifting up both heels, coming up onto your toes on both sides. Before you exhale, setting it down. I don't know if that helps distract from it or if it makes you focus on it more. I don't know. It's okay. Go ahead and inhale, reaching upwards here. And exhale, approaching a wide-legged forward fold. This time, arms can come straight down. Inhale, hands on the mat here. What is it called? That halfway lift back. Before we exhale, releasing downward. Maybe this time your hands come to the ankles, pulling yourself a little bit closer to the mat here, but doing so nice and gently so that you feel that nice stretch in the back of the hamstrings here. Okay, we're doing great on time. Let's go. On your next inhale, go ahead and lift halfway up here. Maybe hands are on the hips, stopping halfway for the exhale. And then inhaling, rising all the way back up. Beautiful. On your next exhale, we're just gonna step into the top of the mat. Inhale, hands rise up here, gazes up at them. Exhale, we're just gonna go straight down, forward fold. Maybe walking it out for a second. Before we inhale, halfway lift here, nice flat back, pulling shoulder blades together. Exhale, go ahead and place the hands down, stepping it back, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, rocking the weight forward for a plank of your choice. Exhale, chaturanga down, keeping those elbows nice and tucked in. Inhale, lifting up, opening up the chest, rolling those shoulders back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Maybe returning to that intention here. If you set one at the beginning of today's class, that kind of just got distracted. So for me, bringing my focus back into this moment, not allowing my mind to wander into last week or this week or even tomorrow. On your next inhale, bringing those weight into the balls of the toes, the balls of the feet. Exhale, go ahead and bend those knees, stepping or hopping it forward. If you're hopping, try to do it very quietly, just making sure that the weight really goes into the hands before your feet release down. Also, we're in forward fold here. I should say that. Inhale, halfway lift here, nice flat back, pulling shoulder blades together. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive, reaching up towards the ceiling here. I'm going to go ahead and face you. Exhale, go ahead and bring hands down to prayer position. So we have one pose that's going to kind of warm us up to our peak pose, and then we have the peak pose. So it's almost a balancing pose, you'll see. So what we're going to go ahead and do is bring our weight into our left leg here. This is your left leg, my right. So you can kind of swing your right leg back and forth here if you want, just to make sure that you're in the right place. Inhale, bringing it up, we're coming into a figure 4 position here. So the bottom of the right shin should be on kind of the bottom of your left quad, just above the knee. Yes, I'm sorry, mirroring is hard. I haven't done it in so long. We're going to go ahead and inhale, lifting up here, balancing, balancing. Before we exhale, sinking it down like we're in chair position, figure 4 chair. So keeping that weight in the big toe here. Keeping that chest nice and lifted, shoulders are rolled back. Maybe you're actively pushing your palms together, your fingertips together to help you keep the balance. Maybe inhaling, lifting up slightly before you exhale, sinking it even deeper. You may feel a stretch in the outside of the side glute here. If it's too much, don't go down as far. What we're really warming up here is kind of the chair legs as we approach our peak pose. Go ahead and take one more breath here. And exhale, sinking it just a little bit deeper. Inhale, rising on up. Go ahead and release that left leg, maybe shaking it out here if you need to. We're going to go ahead and take that on the other side. So whenever you're ready, weight comes into the right leg this time. So we lift up, left leg, coming into that figure 4 position. Making sure that our the bottom of our shin isn't on the knee here, because I don't know, that just sounds like you would get some bruises on the bottom of your shin. Go ahead and bring hands together here, inhaling. Before we exhale, sinking it down. Figure 4, chair pose. Maybe inhaling to lift that chest up, roll those shoulder blades back. Before we exhale, sinking it a little bit deeper. You may have one side that kind of prefers this pose to the other. I know I do. You just do what you can. Don't be afraid to fall out of a pose at any point. It's more about seeing what the body can do rather than making it do things. Go ahead and take one more breath here. And exhale. Beautiful. Go ahead and inhale, lifting up and shaking out those legs if you would like to. We're going to inhale, lifting hands up overhead, gaze comes to meet them. Exhale, swan dive, forward, forward fold. Just stretching it out for a minute before we get into our peak pose. Inhale, halfway lift here, nice flat back. Exhale, go ahead and forward fold once again. Inhale, reverse swan dive, reaching hands up towards the ceiling. Before we exhale, prayer position, bringing the hands down in front of the chest. So, peak pose is eagle. Whenever you're ready, we're going to go ahead and approach it. There's a couple of different versions of this that you can kind of experiment with. So, first things first, our weight is coming into our left leg. So maybe you want to swing that right leg back and forth a bit. It's up to you, you don't have to. And whenever you're ready, we're going to sink down slightly on that left leg before crossing the right leg over top. So maybe this is good for you, having the right shin just kind of resting on the outside of the left shin, or maybe you want to go so far as to kind of twist the toes around. It's up to you. I know it's not the most comfortable for some people, so you definitely don't have to if you don't want to. Okay, and then with the arms, so if our right leg is over top, then our left arm is going to be over top. So we bring left, like the top of the arm over top, crossing elbows here. And maybe this is good for you, having the backs of the hands against each other, or maybe you want to go even farther and kind of twist the wrists together as well. And then from here, we just sink it a little bit lower. So feeling the sort of opposite pulls from the earth through our feet and then from the air through our hands. Inhale, reaching those hands up just a little bit more. Exhale, sinking a little bit lower into that leg. Inhale one more time. Exhale, go ahead and lift up and out, shaking it out. Beautiful job. We're going to go ahead and take that on the other side whenever you are ready. Yes. Okay, so inhale, weight comes into that right leg, sinking down on it just a little bit. Before you exhale, bringing left leg across. Once again, you can stop here if you just want the shins kind of lined up next to each other, or you can curl the left toes around the shin, completely up to you. And then with the arms, is it? If the left leg is over top, then our right arm will be over top here. So twisting, elbows over each other here. And then you can just kind of sink into it here, maybe looking through this little peephole. Or if you would like to, you can also kind of wrap the wrists together and exhale, sinking it a bit deeper. Inhale, lifting those arms up. Exhale, sinking even lower. Inhale, one more time here. Exhale, lifting up and shaking it out. Beautiful job. All right, so that was the peak pose of class. We're now going to go ahead and cool down, and then we'll take a little meditation. So I'm just coming to the top of the mat here. Whenever you're ready, we're going to inhale, bringing hands up overhead. Exhale, swan dive, forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift here, nice flat back. Oh no, my phone's ringing. Exhale, go ahead and place hands down, stepping it back, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, go ahead and lift up the right leg here, three-legged dog. Exhale, crunching knee towards nose before placing that leg down. We're going to go ahead and uncurl the back toes for a low lunge here. So you can feel this stretch kind of in the hip flexor. You want to feel it a little bit more, thinking about pulling those hips into alignment with each other. So maybe pulling that left hip forward and that right hip back. Keeping the chest nice and lifted here. Beautiful. On your exhale, go ahead and walk your hands back a little bit, bringing the weight into the glutes here for a hamstring stretch on that right leg. You can go ahead and flex this front foot and just sink it a little bit lower, but thinking about keeping that spinal alignment here from the tailbone through the crown of the head. On your next inhale, go ahead and walk the weight forward. And this time we're heel toeing our right foot to the outside of our right hand for lizard pose. So a few options here. You can stay here if this is good for you. You can sink down on your elbows here if you would like to for a little bit of extra hip opening action. Or you can kind of peel the right foot, at the bottom of the right foot, off of the mat here to open up your hip a little bit more as well. You can do a combination of both. It'll depend on how you're feeling today. Beautiful. If you're down on those elbows, you can go ahead and lift up to your hands here. And on your next exhale, we're going to go ahead and heel toe our right foot all the way across the mat towards the left hand here before we step down the right shin, sinking our weight into our hips here for pigeon pose. Thinking about pulling the hips together once again so that they line up. You want your front shin to be as close to parallel to the top of the mat as possible, but not everyone's hips kind of line up to that, so don't stress about it too much. And then options here, you can stay up here if this is comfortable for you. If you want to go down on your elbows, you can do that as well. There's a couch in front of me, so I would reach out like all the way and show you that as well, but I obviously can't do that today. One more breath here. And on your next exhale, go ahead and bring yourself up to your hands if you were not already there. Curling that back toe, engaging so that that knee lifts up. We are inhaling, returning to our three-legged dog from before. Exhale, go ahead and release down, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, we're taking that three-legged dog on the left side. Exhale, crunching knee towards nose before setting that left foot down in between our hands. Uncurling that back toe for a low lunge here. Once again, thinking about pulling those hips kind of to meet each other. Feeling that stretch in the right hip flexor this time. Also maybe in the left glute, I don't know. Beautiful. On your next exhale, go ahead and walk the hands toward the back of the mat, bringing the weight into the glutes here for a hamstring stretch on the left side. Flexing that front foot if you would like, and just kind of sinking lower. Maybe you curl forward, I don't know. Normally I would cue this with blocks. Like I would have blocks on the sides so that you can keep nice and lifted, but we have limited resources these days. That's okay though. On your next inhale, go ahead and walk the hands forward. Whenever you're ready, we are heel toeing the left hand toward the left foot towards the outside of the left hand for lizard pose. So options again, you can sink down onto the elbows if you would like. You can also kind of experiment with pulling the bottom of the left foot off of the mat here to open up the hip a little bit more. You can do a combination of both, whatever you would like. On your next inhale, go ahead and come up onto those hands if you're not already there. Exhale, we are heel toeing the left foot towards the right hand this time. Before we set down that front left shin as close to parallel to the top of the mat as we can. Maybe you want to adjust the right leg behind you, pulling it a little bit further away or pulling it closer, whatever is most comfortable for you. It's a stretch, but we don't want to break anything. And then options, once again, you can stay up here if you would like with the chest nice and lifted, or you can sink down onto your elbows if that's comfortable for you. And then last option, again, there's a couch in front of me, but you can extend your arms out long if you would like and sink all the way down, trying to meet your chest with the leg or the mat, whatever you are feeling. Oh yeah, I'm sorry about the music this time. We're having problems with rights to music, I guess, so I can hear it. I don't think you can, but hopefully you've enjoyed my half-hearted humming along. On your next inhale, go ahead and lift yourself up onto your hands if you're not already there. Curling the back toe, lifting up the back knee. We inhale, rising into three-legged dog. Before we exhale, releasing it down, downward facing dog. And on your next inhale, go ahead and slowly walk your feet forward before sitting yourself back into a seated position, knees bent, and you can just go ahead and lay back. There's something behind me. On your next inhale, go ahead and hug the knees in towards the chest here, maybe rocking it back and forth, massaging out the lower spine. On your next inhale, go ahead and release the left leg down to the mat. And exhale, we're twisting our right knee toward the left side of the room for a supine twist here. So options, you can have arms kind of stretched out. You can have them bent at 90 degrees, so cactus arms. And just thinking about keeping your shoulder blades both planted firmly on the mat here. And the twisting is coming from the knee falling closer to the ground on that left side. So maybe you feel that stretch in the lower back. You might also feel it a little bit in the outside of the right side glute. Go ahead and inhale, rising up, hugging that right knee towards the chest for a second. And exhale, switching legs here. Inhaling to pull that left knee in towards the chest here. And exhale, twisting it towards that right side, supine twist. You stay there, we'll check how we are on time. Okay. That's actually fine. Okay. Still twisting here. Once again, keeping the shoulder blades kind of planted down on the mat. Go ahead and inhale, tucking that knee in towards the chest. And exhale, bringing the right knee up to join it. Maybe you're rocking back and forth here once again. If you have any other poses that you would normally take during your everyday yoga practice, feel free to take those now. Maybe you want to take cloud pose or wheel or, I don't know, what are the other ones? My mind is going blank. I am ready for Shavasana. If you have no other poses that you would normally take, you can go ahead and take Happy Baby with me Taking your peace fingers to the insides of the big toes here and pulling knees towards armpits, and then rocking back and forth. It looks very, very silly, but I promise it feels really good. And go ahead and inhale one more time, hugging knees towards chest, giving yourself a big hug and thanking yourself for coming to today's practice. Exhale, go ahead and release down to the mat for Shavasana. A few different options here. You can lay completely flat in corpse pose. You can also keep your knees slightly bent to support your lower back. And then final option, you can have your knees wide in sort of a butterfly pose. Whatever you prefer. I'm going to switch the music, but it's really just for myself for timekeeping sake. And allowing the eyes to flutter closed here. Maybe releasing that Ujjayi breath if you are still using it. You can adjust your body if you need to, as it falls further and further into the mat. On your next inhale, go ahead and bring your focus to any tension that might be in the forehead, between the eyebrows, around the mouth, around the nose, and exhale to release it, relaxing the face. Inhale, bringing your focus to any tension that might be in the collarbone, the shoulders, near the elbows all the way down to the hands, and exhale to release it, relaxing down into the mat. Inhale, bringing your focus to any tension that might be in the chest, around the stomach and the hips, and exhale to release it. Finally, inhaling, bringing your focus to any tension that might be in the toes, the feet, the knees, the legs. Exhale, relaxing down into the mat. Beginning to deepen the breath here. Maybe making small movements like wiggling the fingers and toes. Doing some wrist or ankle circles here. On your next inhale, go ahead and reach the arms overhead for a big full body stretch. And exhale, go ahead and rock yourself up to a seated position. You can allow those eyes to open. We'll go ahead and take one final breath together. So we inhale, reaching the hands overhead, gaze comes beneath them. And exhale, bringing the hands over your head for kind thoughts, over your mouth for kind words, and over heart center for kind intentions towards ourselves and others. Namaste means the light and love in me. Honor Zen reflects the light and love in each and every one of you. So feel free to say to me as I say to you, Namaste.